Hello, dear friends. The world could run out of conspiracy theories by 2025 if they continue to be realized at the current rate. Opinion piece, end of evil, victory of light, new civilization, digital warriors, paradigm shift, missionaries of light. Let's start. A new fraternal civilization, more just loving, is a concept that refers to a social and cultural paradigm shift towards a society based on values of affection, compassion, solidarity, and respect for all living beings and the environment, where values are promoted that allow for harmonious coexistence among all living beings. This new civilization seeks to promote cooperation and peaceful coexistence among human beings and to foster sustainable human development. We are the new civilization. A sustainable society needs a collective that seeks to meet its present aspirations without compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs. In other words, it would be a society that balances economic prosperity, social equity, and environmental care in order to ensure the quality of life of both current and future generations. The idea of a new civilization of love has been proposed by different social movements and groups that promote profound changes in the way current communities are organized and function. Today's civilization is based on materialistic values and competition, which has led to the exploitation of natural resources, environmental degradation, and human suffering. The new civilization of love seeks to overcome these problems through the promotion of values such as solidarity, empathy, and care for nature. Existence of evil. Earth would be the only place in the universe where the dark or malevolent forces exist, and the rest of the universe would be composed of mostly, but not all, benevolent and loving beings. Evil is an ethical and moral concept that refers to actions, thought, or intentions that are considered harmful, immoral, or evil. Evil can manifest itself in many different forms, including deception, violence, oppression, discrimination, hatred, and cruelty. Good is an ethical and moral concept that refers to actions, thought, or intentions that are considered beneficial, ethical, or virtuous. Good can manifest itself in many different ways, including honesty, compassion, generosity, justice, and respect for others and the natural environment. Wheel of Time. The creation of new civilization is based on the Buddhist tradition of Kalachakra, the Wheel of Time, which holds that the cycles of life, universes, and civilizations are interconnected and cyclical. This perspective implies that citizens can actively participate in the creation of a new civilization. This concept represents the interdependence and interconnectedness of everything that exists, from humankind to universes. Furthermore, it is believed that time moves in cycles and that the creation of a new civilization is within the possibility of humankind. In short, the creation of a new civilization is based on the understanding that everything is interconnected and on the belief that life periods are cyclical. Therefore, every human being has an important role to play in the creation of a new civilization. Victory of Light. The victory of light is a term used by some people who believe in the existence of dark forces in the universe and who are working to overcome them. Humankind and planet Earth have been under the control of these dark forces for a long time, and the victory of light refers to time when they will be freed from their influence and a state of peace, harmony, and freedom will be achieved. The victory of light would not only be a physical or material event, but also a change in humankind's consciousness and a spiritual transformation. This implies the awakening of humankind to its true potential, of human being to its true potential, the elimination of oppression and injustice in the world, and the establishment of a new paradigm based on values such as love, compassion, and unity. Contactees. A contactee is a living being who claims to have direct personal contact with beings from other worlds through such means as telepathy, dreams, visions, sightings, abductions, and so on. Some contactees also claim to have received messages or teachings from star visitors, and often identify themselves as spokespersons or messengers for these beings. These contacts are often positive and can help humankind evolve to a higher state of consciousness. According to Cobra, the Resistance is working closely with various forces of light, including benevolent beings and ascended masters, in order to assist humankind in its transition into a new era of consciousness and liberation from the oppression of dark forces. Cobra is the pseudonym used by a human being who presents himself as a contactee or communicator of the Resistance, a secret group of humans and star visitors who fight against the dark forces in the universe and who work to free Earth from the influence of these forces. Missionaries of Light. The term lightworker is often used in spirituality to describe living beings who are committed to their own spiritual development and service to humankind. These are human beings who are here to help raise the energetic frequency of the planet and to support the spiritual awakening and evolution of humankind. Missionaries of Light often have intuitive and healing abilities and may be involved in activities such as meditation, yoga, energy healing, spiritual teaching, and social activism. They also have a deep connection with the Divine Source and are here to fulfill a specific spiritual mission. Ultimately, what is most important is that each being finds connection to their purpose, or to his purpose, and his contribution to the well-being of humankind and the planet. Digital warrior is a term used to describe living beings who use technology and digital media to promote social, political, or environmental causes. These human beings are often activists or advocates to use social networks, email, blogs, and other digital media to spread information and mobilize people. In general, digital warriors use technology and digital media to create a positive impact on the world and to promote meaningful social change. Paradigm shift. A paradigm shift refers to a fundamental change in the way a problem or situation is understood and approached. A paradigm is a set of beliefs, values, assumptions, and models that are used to interpret reality and make decisions. When a paradigm shift occurs, there is a radical transformation in the way that the world is viewed and decisions are made. Radical comes from root, and extremism comes from extreme and balanced. Paradigm shifts can be driven by scientific discoveries, technological innovations, social and cultural changes, among other factors. These shifts can have a major impact on the way problems are addressed and decisions are made, and can often have profound and long-lasting consequences. We may be experiencing a paradigm shift in several aspects of modern life. In the last decade, we have witnessed major technological and social changes that are transforming the way we live and work. We have also seen significant changes in the way we communicate and relate to each other, thanks to social networks and other information technologies. De-dollarization. De-dollarization refers to the process in which countries reduce their dependence on the dollar as a reserve currency. Some data suggest that there has been a decline in the use of the dollar in international transactions in recent years. According to the IMF, the percentage of international reserves held in dollars has fallen from 65% in 2015 to 59% in 2020 and is still declining. In addition, some countries such as Russia, China and Iran have reduced their dependence on the dollar and diversified their reserves into other currencies such as the euro, the Japanese yen and the Chinese yuan. These countries seek to reduce their vulnerability to sanctions and economic leverage. However, the dollar remains the most widely used reserve currency in international transactions. Moreover, many countries depend on the dollar for access to financial markets and external financing. Economy. Banking turbulence. First Republic Bank teeters on the brink of collapse. First Republic is trying to avoid bankruptcy by selling assets. The government is expected to seize the bank. First Republic gave very low rate mortgages to the rich and failed. Banking problems may be the tip of the debt iceberg. The World Bank's chief economist calls for a new approach to the debt crisis. A bank expert friend of Max Sida says the collapse would be the next Black Monday. A debt default could lead to massive unemployment, default on payments, and raise interest rates in perpetuity, warns Janet Yellen. BlackRock adds treasuries as debt ceiling rises. Larry Summers says a recession is needed to end inflation. UK gets record demand for inflation hedge bonds. Russia launches an unrestricted cross-border digital currency payment system. This would break the central bank's digital currencies, according to Max Sida. Bank of America sends out lots of emails about art investments. Frantic demand for silver eased last week. A large transfer of wealth is taking place at the institutional level. People with money and banks are preparing for the transition. Judy Bington believes that the cold vaults on the Bank for International Settlements, the Swiss Central Bank and the Fed are empty. China and the Fed keep investors oscillating between oil and gold. Xi Jinping will send a former ambassador to Russia to Ukraine to resolve the conflict. Americas. Argentina agrees with China to pay for its imports in yuan. Bolivia's Fácil Bank is intervened due to the cessation of payments. Brazilian police interrogate Bolsonaro for alleged links to the assault in Brasilia. Brazil burnt in almost 4 decades an area equivalent to Colombia and Chile combined. More than 185 million hectares were burnt between 1985 and 2022, 21.8% of the national territory. AMLO clarifies rumors about his health. I am fine and I had a temporary fainting spell, he said. Colombia strengthens ties with India and breaks obedience to US policy. Peru declares an emergency on its border due to the entry of illegal immigrants. The Venezuelan government insists on the cessation of sanctions in order to resume dialogue. Europe. Euro hits year high of $1.105, a little more than $1. Fed's announcement of lower funding in the US currency sinks the greenback. The ECB has no choice but to raise rates further, says Boris Bushthik. Brussels proposes a minimum adjustment of half a point of GDP per year for countries exceeding a deficit of 3%. Spain closed 2022 with a deficit of 4.81% and a debt ratio of 113% of GDP. Spain will bring forward the high-temperature alert plan to 15th May. Spanish hotels earn 13% more per room thanks to improved demand. Occupancy reached 65% in the first quarter of the year. Alcóntar, Almería, the only Andalusian municipality in which España vacía, empty Spain, is a candidate. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.